Hey guys, this is Jeff from Hubie's Garage. Unfortunately, one of my kids gave me their cold, so voice is a little out of it, but we'll try to lumber through this. But today we're going to visit Earl at Williams Classic Chassis Works in Laverne. Earl's shop isn't too far from the house here, probably about an hour away, and his shop is about a half mile down the road from the famous Pomona Raceway, which is where they have the NHRA Winter Nationals there at the LA County Fairgrounds. So Earl's been building a lot of Tri-5 chassis components for the Tri-5 cars for quite some time. He started back in '63 with a 55 Bel Air hardtop that he started working on, and I believe he still has the car. I've got a couple pictures of it. As far as chassis components, stuff that, tell it's springtime here. Earl has been pretty famous for these cars for quite some time. I don't think there's a better Tri-5 chassis builder than Earl. He's come up with a lot of unique, one-of-a-kind parts. I know the spring pocket locators that are out on the market today, that was an original design from Earl and Williams Classic Chassis Works. And you know, I get to look at those as well as look at the shop and a couple of cars he's got in there. The thing I'm real bummed out about was when we went out there, I had an introduction that I had filmed with Earl, talked to him a little bit about the shop and parts that he sells and whatnot. And unfortunately, I thought we were recording and it didn't record. So I basically have the tail end of Earl reviewing some of the parts that I had personally bought for my project. So let's load up and we'll ride on out and meet up with Earl at Williams Classic Chassis Works. We are at Earl's. All right, we made it to Earl's. I think we got a new car. Seen some pretty wavy panels, but boy, wow. I think this one came back from Beat Blast and was probably a bit upsetting. Oh, foam engine block. Good for mock-up. Like a 4-link.
Yeah, you raised the whole trunk, and because you wanted the gas tank up.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, so it's going to be just like storage and stuff, you know?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's those things definitely hang down if you keep them in the stock location. Some of the bigger tanks, but boy, I can't believe the mods on this seamless frame. That's got a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah.
A lot of add-on stuff.
Yeah. It's got all the provisions for, like a cage and whatnot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's those standoffs that you see there.
Okay, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll be able to put a big tank in there. In fact, I see all the bracketry for all the flanges for the tank flange. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
The shock mounts. Wow. Looks like a 4-link setup.
Ladder bars.
Or ladder bar. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ladder bars. 409 going in it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Nothing to fit. Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, beautiful car. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. So this is Earl's son's car.
Yes.
Wow.
Keep the motor in stock position.
Yeah.
Sounds like so.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, that's options there.
So
This is
3/4 inch. So these are 3/4 inch forward, and then these are stock.
Yes.
Location. Okay.
the
All right.
original
And then
style.
the ones that are you can flip back and
Yeah.
forth. So okay. Wow. Well, that's great. That's great. So that one, it doesn't. So wherever the motor mounts are, they go, and it's these that will actually move the motor forward or stock location.
We'll do both. Yeah,
Okay,
it does-
wow.
it does both.
Okay, that's a great.
Yeah, and they're a lot stronger than these, of course. And
Yeah.
you'll never break these, and these are like so. These are hard to find. I mean, in fact they're gone. They're down about just probably
Yeah.
maybe a dozen.
If you ever need replacement urethane bushings, where would you get these at?
For me,
Okay.
or in a pinch, you can get them. What they are is the rear shackle. I did this on purpose. The rear shackle bushings for 55, 56 and 57. The long ones, that's the same size as this.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Awesome. Well, that's great. Shoot. Hey guys, just wanted to go over what we purchased today at Earl's shop today. One of the things I got was the rear cross member for the shock absorber. I opted for, instead of the one that has the plate that's at an angle that has the stud type shock, I went for the one that has the eyelet, so that when it's on the frame, I'll be able to get up under there. I won't have to climb into the trunk and play that game. So this is the first car I've done this way with an eyelet and an eyelet shock absorber. So it just looks like it'll be a little bit stronger. I'm going to end up having to cut holes in the frame. I've got a seamless frame for this car, so I'll use a hole saw and cut it, and then cut the other one and then weld it in. It should have about a 1/2 inch where it sits inside the frame, and then I'll go ahead and put a couple of tack welds in there and weld it up. So looking forward to this part. Super strong. I don't think there's anything stronger than this right here. This is the transmission cross member. This specific cross member he had done in one afternoon. It was actually, he had my whole order done in one afternoon, but this was a little bit of a kind of a nicer piece in the sense that I just went there for a cross member for a Muncie, and I also wanted to get a drive shaft hoop in case I decide to race it, something that's NHRA approved, so I don't, take the car and lose the front U-joint on the car and have the car pole vault on the highway or in the street or on the track. So what he did is he put an NHRA approved drive shaft hoop on this cross member. Now the standard cross member that he uses has 2 horizontal supports that go right to the center of the hoop, And for a few extra bucks, 40 or 60 bucks, I can't remember, he does a third bar, and that's what I had him do. I had him put that third bar in. Basically, the theory of triangulation, that a triangular joint is stronger than a two-point joint. So, you know, I hope that I never have to find out if this works or not, but this is real strong, real sturdy. I don't think there's going to be any problems with this. So basically I killed two birds with one stone by getting the cross member and the hoop put in as one unit. It'll be so much easier under the car to deal with this versus having to deal with, you know, one of the universal Lakewood drive shaft hoops, stuff like that. And then I also got some other parts. Got some motor mount. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure of is I wanted to get some good stout motor mounts. And I've looked at the ones from CPP. You know, they're not too bad. They, excuse me, they basically utilize the front saddle cross member on the Tri-5 frame. There's two rivets on the back side of that cross member, and you drill those out, and then you use those two rivets as locating points for the bolt-in motor mounts. These are a little bit different. This one is actually the passenger side, and then this one is the driver's side, and they'll mount right where that cross member comes across from where it makes the turn from the parallel frame rails to the cross member itself. The thing that's very unique about these that Earl designed was he utilizes urethane bushings, and the urethane bushings are the same as the Tri-5 rear shackle bushings. So if you ever need to replace them, they're in the shackle urethane. You can just get a urethane shackle kit, and that's your urethane bushing. And it's got a steel sleeve inside there. So now one of the other things that these come with is they come with the motor mounts. Now they fit in just like that. It's a solid steel motor mount. One thing that's different about these is it's got an arrow. Now the arrow for the standard stock location, you'd want them pointing forward. For the 3/4 inch forward location, you'd flip them this way. And very versatile motor mounts. You got the arrow cut into the motor mount itself so that you know which position you can run it, whether you want to run it stock location or 3/4 inch forward. Very versatile motor mounts in the event that for whatever reason you want to change something in the future. So in that kit it came with the two solid motor mounts, but when you look at the fact that these have urethane bushings, it's more of a semi solid motor mount. It does have the cushion of the urethane bushings, so you do get a little bit of smoother, won't get as much vibration as a solid mount. Also got a urethane transmission mount for the cross member that will mount onto the Muncie, because I am running a Muncie. Comes with the hardware kit, instructions, and then it also comes with the frame mounts that go on the inside of the frame rails to locate the cross member. That was all the parts that I got with this. And then these are also the motor mount bolts for the motor mount. Now, I was ready to get out of there with all of these items. I had a certain amount of money set aside. It really wasn't that bad. Earl's prices are very, very good. But there was one thing that Earl is very well known for, and that is he had an association with a guy by the name of Smiley. And Smiley was the guy who, I believe he originally worked for Hedman Headers back in the day, and then he went off on his own when Hedman, I believe they went to Mexico. They went out of country to start building their headers. Excuse me. So Smiley opened up his own shop, and he was the primary supplier for Zumi headers for John Force. Well, I guess Earl at one point, when he had been building all these cars and had a couple of tricks on how to put them together on these Tri-5s, and one of the problems that the Tri-5s have always had is having the headers that hang down underneath the side mounts where the transmission and the engine come together. Those side mounts cause problems, and you end up having to run a header a lot lower than the frame, and you get rubbing up the driveway, they drag, stuff like that. So Earl had come up with knocking out those frame horns or frame mounts on the inside of the frame rails, and he contacted Hooker, he contacted Thorley, he contacted Hedman, tried to get somebody to build some custom headers that would tuck inside the frame rails, because now the frame horns are gone, and the only guy that he could find to do that was Smiley. So Smiley had been building these headers for years. I had a set on my wife's 57 Bel Air 4-door wagon, the 55 hardtop that we have on the channel, my Howie's hardtop. It's got a set of Earl's collectors. They're 3-inch collector with an 1 3/4 primary tube, and just incredibly well built. Just fit everything. The only thing you need to know is small block or big block. They'll fit everything. They'll fit standard trans, they'll fit automatic trans, they'll fit everything. So Earl had been down that path, and he knew what worked. Smiley was building them. So Smiley is in his mid-70s and finally decided to retire. And last I heard, Smiley, Earl had some headers still in stock. He'd gotten rid of all of his big block headers. He had 2 sets of headers when I initially called him left for a small block, and when I got there he had 1 set left. And I decided to plop down the plastic. So these are the famous Earl's headers. Pop them open for you. I wasn't going to open them, but because I'm still not sure what I'm going to use them on. I'm probably going to use them on the 55 Bel Air Post, Bel Air sedan, for anybody that gets offended by the word post. But I've got a set of Doug Thorley Tri-Wise, and they've got a 2.5 collector on them. And let's see if I can figure out how to get this off. And they basically run out of power past a certain RPM. And I figure if I go with a bigger small block down the road, I'm thinking about going with a big cubic inch first generation small block on that car. And these would be the perfect headers for that. So let's get these open. See if we can do this without cutting this beautiful jet hot coating, because these are coated. And let's see if I can do this. This is the passenger side. But this alliance that Earl had with Smiley was it was a long business venture that those guys had, and best wishes to Smiley. He's finally retiring and going to go hopefully enjoy life and do some fishing. But this is the end product. And let me get the camera. So this is what the headers look like, and they've got plenty of clearance. Of course, this is the passenger side, and the passenger side's got plenty of clearance on the on the Tri-5s. It's the driver's side that has problems. But the big claim to fame on these is the primary tubes aren't as long. And when they go to make this 90-degree turn down here, it's a lot shorter, so that the primaries where it goes into the 3-inch collector, is actually inside the frame rail. So when you look under the car, you don't see the headers. And that's what's really special about these headers. They are just one of a kind. And the unfortunate part is, I mean, I've recommended a lot of guys on the forums and people that I've talked to, I've recommended that they call Earl to get these headers. And after owning 2 sets and seeing that this was the last set known in existence, I just had to grab them. So, like I say, they'll probably go on the 55 Bel Air 2-door sedan, the car that I've had since I was 15, the Gypsy Red Indy Ivory car. Looking at putting a bigger small block in that, taking the L79 out, and these will absolutely just be perfect headers, gorgeous headers for that car. So I guess part of the stuff that came with it was header bolts and the collector extensions so that the header shop has something to build off of. But yeah, I'm glad I got these. End of an era for Earl and Smiley, but they're gonna go great on this car when I get to that point, and you guys will all see it because it's it'll certainly be content on the channel. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks again for coming along for the ride out to Earl's at Williams Classic Chassis Works. If you want to get in touch with Earl, he's a very personable guy. You can talk to him about your project. This is all of his contact information. He's got a lot of information with a lot of photos and whatnot on the gallery on his website. And, you know, he's just one of the best out there. Couldn't recommend anybody better. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, go ahead and like the video, and sure would love a subscription if you don't have one. I got a lot of people watching that don't subscribe. It's free, it's easy, it's quick, and you'll see lots more on the Tri-5 Chevys, the 5 here at least that I own, and some of the projects that we do here around the garage. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.